When you cry, it's the sign that abandons it. I'll tell you what to do.
Joker is probably the single most influential movie to be released in the past decade. When we heard it was coming out, people just expected another DC movie about a supervillain planning evil plots to take down the good guys. There were complaints that no one could compare to the amazing Heath Ledger. But what we got was a deep emotional journey with a character that we deeply sympathize with, far from the mass-produced high-budget superhero movies that we see all the time. In this movie, we see Arthur, a guy we can all sympathize with, who evolves from a guy suffering from a mental health illness, desperately trying to get help, to a murderous sociopath devoid of all emotion, capable of killing his own mother. It is a beautiful movie and made this channel so popular. I have a lot to thank it for. So in this video, I'm going to use my skills as a body language analyst to break down Arthur's traumatic journey and descent into evil.
All I have are negative thoughts.
The first time we gain an insight into Arthur's psyche is in the first few minutes of the movie, where he speaks to his therapist for the final time. This is a very subtle scene, but reveals a lot of interesting insight into Arthur's state of mind at the beginning of the movie.
It was like nobody ever saw me. Even I didn't know if I really existed.
Arthur, I have some bad news for you.
You don't listen, do you? I don't think you ever really hear me. You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts. But you don't listen anyway.
I just wanted to give a special thanks to today's sponsor, Atlas VPN. With Atlas VPN, you can enjoy the most affordable online protection for just $1.83 per month with their new summer deal. And guess what? They're giving you 3 extra months of protection absolutely free. Plus, they've also got your back with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Atlas VPN is there to keep you connected and entertained wherever you go. It's your ultimate online guardian. It blocks all malicious links, ads, and trackers. And if someone tries to steal your data, they will notify you right away. Atlas VPN can also get you the best deals on online subscriptions, airlines, hotels, and more. And the best part is, you can actually protect unlimited devices with one subscription. Join millions of satisfied users and choose Atlas VPN today. They have kindly given us a custom discount using the link on screen now, where you can take advantage of their awesome 85% off summer deal. Now back to the video. So we see Arthur do a genuine smile here. His mouth is smiling and we can see tension around his eyes, which indicates genuine emotion. Fake smiles tend to lack this tension in and around the eyes, as people think that only their mouths are used to smile, when in fact we use the whole face. He is experiencing genuine positive emotion when saying that people are starting to notice. But when the lady interrupts to talk about something completely different, you see this emotion shift from his face. He stares at the lady, making above average eye contact. Now, we typically make eye contact 70% of the time when listening and 50% of the time when speaking. And he is making far more than that here. Excessive eye contact is confrontational, and the fact that he makes a lot here when he's criticizing her shows that he has no real fear of her. Arthur is confident in himself and risks confrontation in saying what he feels needs to be said.
I said, for my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed. But I do. And people are starting to notice.
They've cut our funding. We're closing down our offices next week. The city's cut funding across the board. Social services is part of that. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
Okay.
They don't give a shit about people like you, Arthur. And they really don't give a shit about people like me either.
He continues the excessive levels of eye contact here, and the woman distances as a result of it. When she speaks, she looks to the floor, which could be a number of things. We look away from things that cause us emotional stress or discomfort, and to also signify to others that we're feeling distressed. However, she could also just be looking away as a submissive gesture, as she doesn't want to stand against Arthur. She wants to avoid all confrontation with Arthur, which is why she distances and looks away. Arthur is clearly intimidating her here, which suggests that from the get-go that he has some sociopathic tendencies. Now, one of the telltale signs of a sociopath is that they attempt to control others with aggression and intimidation. Arthur does this in a way here, showing that even before all of the traumatic events of the movie, Arthur is fundamentally sociopathic. When he finds out that they're cutting his funding, he distances to the floor, which also shows a high level of facial tension. This indicates genuine emotional distress at hearing that they will no longer help him. From this, we can tell that he clearly really wants help and is upset that it's going to stop. The next turning point for Arthur came when his supposedly close friend Randall gave him a gun after he was mugged. What initially looks like a kind gesture from a friend soon turns out to be a ploy by Randall to make money from Arthur. Arthur then gets confronted by his boss about the mugging we saw at the start of the film, where some kids beat him up and destroyed his sign. Now, we see Arthur do some very interesting body language here that reveals a lot about his state of mind and mental health.
What's up, ladies?
Hey, Randall, what's up?
Another day in Chuckletown.
Yep.
You okay? I heard about the beatdown you took. Fucking savages.
It was just a bunch of kids. I should have left it alone.
No, we'll take everything from you if you do that. All the crazy shit out there, they're animals. You know what? Here.
What is it?
Take it. It's for you. You gotta protect yourself out there. Otherwise, you're gonna get fucked. Randall.
I'm not supposed to have a gun.
Arthur makes no eye contact here. He keeps looking down and doesn't look at Randall or anyone else in the room. This could mean a number of things. He could feel intimidated and shy as eye contact is seen as confrontational, and so the brain avoids it to keep us out of trouble. Or, more likely, it could be that he's incredibly introverted. We often make eye contact to build what's called rapport with other people, and when two people are talking, we make eye contact 70% of the time when listening, and 50% of the time when speaking. We do this as a way to communicate and socialize with others, as we are able to read each other's body language. This actually helps us work together and operate socially. From this, we can probably say that Arthur is socially reclusive, and thus doesn't feel the need to engage with this rapport building with those around him, showing us that he's an incredibly introverted person.
Don't sweat it, Art. No one has to know. And you can pay me back some other time. You know you're my boy.
Arthur, Hoyt wants to see you in his office.
Hey, Gary. You know what I've always wondered?
No, Audrey.
Do you people call it miniature golf, or is it just golf to you?
Punch him in the dick, Gary.
Hello, Hoyt. Gary said you wanted to see me.
How's the comedy career? You a famous stand-up yet?
Not quite. Just been working on my material.
No, don't say it. This will be quick. Look, I like you, Arthur. You know, a lot of the guys, they think you're a freak, but I like you. I don't even know why I like you. But I got another complaint. It's starting to piss me off. Kenny's music. The guy said you disappeared.
Arthur is guarding his groin area with his hands here. This body language is a version of the self-hug and is done to help him calm himself down and regulate his emotion. A study conducted by Gallis and Spence in 2010 found that humans make physical contact with themselves as a way to improve their mood. The researchers found that the areas of the brain associated with positive emotional processing were activated when people did this body language. From this evidence, we can conclude that he's doing it because he's under some form of emotional distress, perhaps feeling insecure or nervous about being called to his boss's office. This reveals that Arthur experiences the same emotions as every other neurotypical person, at least in this regard.
Never even returned his sign.
Because I got jumped. Didn't you hear?
For a sign. It's bullshit. It doesn't even make sense. Just give him his sign back. He's going out of business, for God's sake, Arthur.
Why would I keep his sign?
How the fuck do I know? Why does anybody do anything? If you don't return the sign, I gotta take it out of your paycheck. Are we clear? Listen, I'm trying to help you, okay? And I'll tell you something else. The other guys, they don't feel comfortable around you, Arthur, because people think you're weird, okay? And I can't have that around you. I want it to work out.
We see Arthur again do another self-hug, this time when he's on the floor holding his legs. He's desperately trying to regulate his emotions and calm himself down, due to the emotional stress caused by being given a warning by his boss. He also kicks the bins, which is again a way of regulating stress. When we experience stress, which can be caused by things such as anger, our body and muscles get filled with energy in preparation to defend themselves. This stress causes pacifying behaviors and also causes us to try and regulate that stress by physical activity. And psychologists actually encourage people suffering from anxiety to actually hit their pillows as it helps release that excess stress. This is the exact same thing here. He's regulating himself as a coping mechanism. He also smiles here, which, as we find out later on in the film, is how he copes from trauma due to his troubled childhood. So this is probably the most shocking and heavy scene in the entire film, and for those watching it for the first time, it comes as an absolute shock. Naturally, becoming a murderer is going to have some form of impact on you, and we get a really good insight into Arthur's state of mind here as we see him kill these guys.
Stay. You're dreaming, man. She wasn't interested at all.
Are you nuts? Did you see how close we were dancing? She was in love.
Oh, wait. Right. Am I crazy? Tell him what you saw.
Hey, you want some french fries? Hello? Talking to you, man.
No, thank you.
Sure. Real good.
Don't ignore him. He's being nice to you. Is something funny, asshole?
The lady looks to Arthur here and raises her eyebrows slightly. This is rapport building. She's feeling threatened by these guys and looks to Arthur as a way to build rapport with him and to try and get him to protect her and to communicate that she's feeling threatened. We are social animals and we are constantly trying to build rapport with those around us. We evolved and lived as a society for hundreds of thousands of years before language developed. Body language was the only way to communicate, and that's what's happening here. It's very subtle, but we are all experts in picking up the smallest bits of nonverbal communication. We just don't know it. Arthur looks away from the woman who is clearly trying to get his attention as she is feeling incredibly threatened by these guys, and he even laughs a bit. And I feel this small laugh is genuine but triggers the laughing condition later on. If so, this really does reveal a lot about Arthur. It shows that he isn't really a particularly good guy, and is complacent in the harassment of this woman.
Isn't it rich? Me here at last on the ground, and you in midair, sending those clowns. Isn't it bullet? Don't you approve? One who keeps tearing around, and one who can't move. Where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. So, buddy, tell us what's so fucking funny.
Look, I have a condition.
I'll tell you what you have, you asshole. We got a kicker, huh? Hey, hold him steady, hold him steady. Stay down, freak.
Arthur distances from the guys when they get close to him. He is clearly feeling threatened by them, and his brain forces him to look away as eye contact again is seen as confrontational. Like with building rapport, eye contact helps us work together socially. And I suspect if he didn't have his laughing condition and distance from the guys when they approached him, this would signify to them that he doesn't want to challenge their authority. And they would have likely just left him alone, maybe thrown some insults at him, but they wouldn't have attacked him. However, because he has his laughing condition, he is unable to build that rapport and communicate effectively with them, so he can't stop them from attacking him. And as I said before, we spent the majority of our evolution without spoken language, so our body language conveys the vast majority of information. Arthur is desperately trying to avoid eye contact and give off submissive body language to protect himself, but his laugh betrays him. So Joker executes this last guy. The first two were definitely self-defense, but the final guy was blatant execution. However, when the defense mechanism is triggered and we get into the fight-flight response, it is difficult to regulate our actions and suppress our urges, as we are experiencing an overwhelming surge of different chemicals in the bloodstream that trigger primitive reactions. His body is totally focused on neutralizing the threat, and he has a gun. All of his instincts are telling him to kill the last guy, as even though he may not necessarily be a threat in that given moment, literally hundreds of thousands of years of evolution are telling him to kill him. Our primitive brain doesn't care about morality when threatened, and will take the logical solution to defend itself. This guy could be a threat in the future. All of his nonverbal communication stops when he's trying to kill the guy, and this is because when we experience the fight response, all of our focus and attention goes towards the threat. He maintains solid eye contact, far above average, and becomes totally distant from his surroundings. He only begins to pacify and show signs of stress after the threat is neutralized. He distances numerous times and pacifies by touching his head, and also begins to hyperventilate, showing extreme levels of stress. He is mentally ill, and his ability to maintain rational thought and suppress his impulses is significantly hindered more than a neurotypical person. But still, even neurotypical people do extreme things when threatened. I don't think what he does here is as abnormal as people make out. This is a less popular scene in the movie, but for me is one of the most essential. We see Arthur realize that his entire world is a lie. He has always loved his mother and had taken great care of her for many years. We see his world get tipped upside down as he learns of his dark and troubled past. His reaction to this is really telling, and again gives us a great look at his thought process and character.
Can I help you, pal?
I don't know what to say.
Do you want an autograph or something?
No. My name is Arthur. Penny Fleck is my mother.
Jesus. You're the guy that came to my house yesterday.
Yes. I'm sorry, I just showed up, but my mother told me everything, and I had to talk to you.
Look, pal, I'm not your father. What's wrong with you?
So Arthur is nervous about meeting his supposed dad. He is again doing the self-hug by clasping his hands over his groin area. He is apprehensive about the meeting, which shows just how much he actually cares about meeting his dad for the first time. Arthur isn't a cold person. He is able to experience genuine emotions here. Everyone online likes to point out that Arthur is a high-functioning sociopath, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. Through the movie, he has displayed a strong ability to feel a wide range of real emotions. I'm not saying he's not a sociopath, but I just don't think he's as high-functioning as people make out. He's also doing the head tilt, which is a method of sound localization which indicates a heightened state of interest and focus. It is clear that Arthur is highly focused on his supposed dad. They also made a movie mistake here. His hands teleport inside his pockets when Wayne turns around to wash his hands. Hands in the pockets is again a method of self-soothing, and is similar to the self-hug, again indicating nervousness in Arthur.
Look at us. I think you are.
Well, that's impossible. Because you're adopted, and I never slept with your mother.
I wasn't
What do you want
adopted.
from me, money?
No, I wasn't adopted.
Jesus, she never told you?
Told me what?
Your mother adopted you while she was working for us.
That's not true. Why are you saying that?
Then she was arrested and committed to Arkham State Hospital when you were just a little boy.
Why are you saying this? I don't need you to tell me lies. I know it seems strange. I don't mean to make you uncomfortable. I don't know why everyone is so rude. I don't know why you are. I don't want anything from you. Maybe a little bit of warmth. Maybe a hug, Dad. How about just a little bit of fucking decency? What is it with you people? You say that stuff to my mother?
She's crazy. You think this is funny?
Dad, it's me.
Touch my son again, I'll fucking kill you.
The thing is, Wayne actually gives Arthur a load of empathy here. He pacifies before telling him that he's adopted, showing that he's stressed, he's emotionally upset to tell Arthur the news. He genuinely feels for Arthur here, but it's ruined by Arthur's reaction. This is the greatest tragedy of Joker. If Arthur were different and worked with others, I think that he would find that people are actually very sympathetic for him. When Arthur is accusing Wayne of lying, he does numerous distancing behaviors and avoids making eye contact with him. This is again submissive body language. By accusing him of lying, he's escalating the confrontation. So his brain forces him to distance and avoid eye contact to show that he is not a threat to him and that he doesn't mean to challenge his authority. Again, it goes back to the fact that we evolved to communicate with our body language, not speech. Although Arthur is shouting at Wayne, he notices that his body language is non-threatening and non-confrontational, and acts again with more sympathy for Arthur. He says that she's crazy in a soft tone, not intending to be confrontational at all. Wayne is actually trying to be nice to Arthur, but sadly Arthur's condition means that all hope of resolving the situation are out of the window, which is what ends up getting him punched. Arthur is cursed with bad luck and is a character of fault. He has an inability to communicate effectively with others and realize when people are trying to be sympathetic towards him. As his boss says at the start of the movie, he likes him, but the other guys who don't know him well find him creepy. This likely stems from some form of mental illness that affects the way Arthur reads and processes the body language of others. He struggles to communicate because he struggles to understand that ever so vital rapport building. For example, at the start of the movie, when his friend Randall is talking to him, he doesn't make eye contact that a neurotypical person would. He's unable to make those connections. Arthur, probably due to his troubled childhood, formed an inability to effectively communicate with others, and this is what I believe leads to his downfall. His mother was also mentally ill, and studies have shown that mental illness can be passed down through our genes. I really feel for him as he's got super good intentions. Now, this is the first of 2 parts and covers the first half of the movie. Arthur's descent into becoming Joker is fascinating, and I wanted to give it justice by making sure I cover every single important scene. As a result, this video will be split into 2 parts, and the next video will be a far bloodier one, and will cover the events from when Arthur murders his own mum to murdering Murray at the end of the film. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. If you did enjoy it, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.